In recent hours, a series of giant waves have struck the Pacific Ocean following a powerful 8.8 magnitude earthquake recorded off the Kamchatka Peninsula in far eastern Russia. The quake immediately triggered tsunami warnings that spread to several countries along the Pacific Ring of Fire, including Japan, the United States, especially Alaska and Hawaii, Chile, Ecuador, and Peru. Authorities began closely monitoring the movement of the waves, some of which reached several meters in height. Satellite images and preliminary reports confirmed that the epicenter of the earthquake was 157 kilometers east of Kamchatka at a depth of 11 kilometers. The earthquake occurred on July 29th at around 10:23 a.m. local time in Russia.
Esto en la bahía de Coliumo es algo
The earthquake was classified as shallow, which favors the generation of tsunamis due to the energy released near the Earth's surface. International seismological agencies, such as the United States Geological Survey and the Pacific Tsunami Warning Center, issued alerts for various Pacific coasts just minutes after the event. Japan was one of the first countries to issue a tsunami warning after the earthquake. The Japan Meteorological Agency urged people in coastal areas to evacuate immediately to higher ground, especially in Hokkaido prefectures and the northern regions of the archipelago. Sirens began to sound in several coastal cities, and train services were suspended as a precautionary measure.
Now we getting somewhere.
Japanese authorities explained that waves could reach up to 3 meters in height in some areas. In the United States, the National Tsunami Warning Center issued alerts for the West Coast, including parts of Alaska, the Aleutian Islands, and the state of Hawaii. In Hawaii, residents were warned to stay away from beaches and prepare for evacuations if conditions warrant. The waves could reach considerable force, though not necessarily destructive, according to tsunami propagation models. The siren and mobile alert system was activated immediately. Chile and Ecuador also responded quickly. In Chile, the Hydrographic and Oceanographic Service of the Navy monitored the situation and activated a preventive protocol to assess whether the country's coast would be affected. In Ecuador, the Oceanographic Institute of the Navy declared a preventive tsunami alert for the country's coastline. Authorities recommended that the population stay away from beaches and follow official instructions. In Peru, the Peruvian Geophysical Institute and the Directorate of Hydrography and Navigation of the Navy were alerted to the situation. However, there was a considerable delay in issuing an official response. While neighboring countries activated protocols and issued alert statements, it took several hours in Peru to confirm whether there would be an impact on the Peruvian coast. The waves generated by the earthquake began propagating across the Pacific Ocean at speeds close to 800 kilometers per hour, typical of tsunami behavior. Initial measurements confirmed that the waves reached the coast of Kamchatka less than 30 minutes after the earthquake, although material damage in that region has not been fully assessed. Some reports speak of flooding in smaller port areas, but no casualties have been confirmed so far. The PTWC warned that the tsunami's effects could continue for several hours, with multiple waves reaching different shorelines minutes or even hours apart. This pattern is common in tsunamis generated by high-magnitude earthquakes, where the first wave is not always the most destructive. Authorities emphasized that it is essential to stay away from the coast, even if the danger appears to have passed. In Japan, some coastal areas had already recorded waves of up to 1.2 meters, although with no significant damage initially reported. However, experts noted that this type of tsunami can change behavior rapidly, and its destructive potential should not be underestimated. Several coastal monitoring cameras showed the water advancing offshore and then rushing back toward the coast within minutes. In Alaska, the cities of Kodiak, Sandpoint, and Dutch Harbor received official warnings to evacuate low-lying areas due to the possibility of waves greater than 1 meter. In Hawaii, the busiest beaches, such as Waikiki, were closed, and authorities reinforced police presence to prevent tourists or residents from approaching the ocean. Public schools suspended afternoon activities as a precaution. In South America, Chile was the country that most quickly activated a real-time monitoring and analysis system. Although no anomalous waves were recorded in the early hours, authorities remained vigilant for the possibility of delayed propagation.
See those again.
In Ecuador, some beaches in Esmeraldas, Manabi, and Santa Elena were evacuated as a precaution. No major incidents were reported, but the alert remained in effect. Internationally, several oceanographic agencies began sharing real-time data on sea behavior. Buoys distributed throughout the Pacific detected sea level changes consistent with a tsunami. The graphs showed fluctuations of between 30 centimeters and 1.5 meters at scattered points, confirming the presence of multiple waves spreading. Authorities in the Philippines, Indonesia, and Papua New Guinea were also notified, although due to the position of the epicenter, no significant impacts on those coasts were expected. Even so, civil protection agencies in those countries remained on preventive alert, following international protocols for events of this magnitude.
Yes, sir. Now we're getting somewhere.
In the coming hours, the coasts of several countries are expected to remain under observation, with new waves arriving at different times. International authorities recommended not lowering their guard and maintaining active preventive measures until the PTWC lifts the general alert. Ports in some regions have suspended operations as a precaution.